We're going to see the smoke kick out to the back of a number of cars as they get off the line and head up towards turn number 1 here. It is going to be side by side towards the front of the lead. Lama to the inside of Portland, and Lama is going to make that move. A tiny little bit of contact, but Lama is into the lead here. McKinsey looking to try and get through for second as well. It's side by side between Mould and Thurtle behind. Mould on the outer line, Thurtle on the inside line. They're 3 wide, but they're going to settle themselves down on the exit with McKinsey ahead of Mould. Off onto the grass there was Jaden Scotton trying to get past Arthur Thurtle. They run side by side, and they are going to continue doing that as we head towards the bottom end of the circuit. They settle themselves down with Scotto ahead. Tony Walker gets the inside of Daniel Downing there, and they manage to make their way through. Okay, now it is going to be Mail on the inside, and it is going to swap back across then. And position swapped for then Coombe down to 26th position. It is going to be side by side behind Tony Walker on the outside. Daniel Downing looking to the inside here. Heavy onto the brakes. We saw this move work on the opening lap for the lead. It's going to work again, this time for 8th position. Daniel Downing moving through as Portland retakes the lead up front. That came out of nowhere to that one. I didn't want that to happen, as it is side by side, and Portland's just got the speed on the exit and then holds it on that wider line, and that's exactly where he's going to want to be. Let's have a look what's happened there. Whoa, huge crash going ahead. A lot of cars involved in that one. A lot of cars into the wall. What has happened to Olsen Leah here? Side by side contact, and it's a spin into a wall. A shoot. Whoa. I think that is the biggest TCR crash I have seen on iRacing. As it heads up towards turn number 1, Lama leads across the line. Portland to the inside, and here comes Logan McKinsey. It's 3 wide. Logan McKinsey to the inside. Gets to move past Portland. Can he find the speed on the exit on Lama? Portland's trying to get there, back in there, and won't be able to quite get a nudge in, but he tries. That's going to be McKinsey sideways. Portland up, down Mould into 3rd, but Anthony Lama is going to be back into the lead of that one. Down to 2/10 of a second between the leading 2. That's a big side. Dan Mould has fallen to 6th, by the way. I just noticed that's the change that happened. The timing line once more. Scott Malcolm looks like he has had a potential issue down in 7th in class, as Mould moves to the inside. It's side by side between Downing and De Jong as well behind. That is for overall position as Downing gets past De Jong. Scotton holds on to Mould. Is he going to be able to keep it in? He does. There's no contact like we saw earlier on in the race for McKinsey. Mould goes low, and he goes low just at the right point in the corner. That he does find a little bit of speed, but there's no space to get past Scotton, and Mould is still holding on to 6th position, wanting to move up the order. 2/10 of a second once more between Lama and Portland, as Portland's returned the gap back to what it was before he dropped off, and Mould! A huge slide! Was there potential contact there? There was a slight nudge there, but really there was nothing that Scotton could have done. Deshay and Jones are going at it. They're going at it for 19th position. They've got Torbor Mayo just behind as well. Deshay is on the inside here. Jones on the outside line. Up towards turn number 1. A late break from Jones. Trying to carry that outside line for 19th position. Gets the car in the right place and makes that move. Deshay has to drop behind and tries to sneak another move just up the inside. In fact, he is going to have the outside line now and the speed. 3 wide's not going to happen there. Inside, he's not going to do that. He's going to stay behind. 1.5 of a second behind at the moment. Both pushing over to the curbing on the left-hand side. It's still less than 2/10 of a second between them as they run around, and this is exactly what Portland needed. Goes to the inside of Lama. Portland tries to make that move on the inside. It's not going to quite work out as Lama's able to hold the speed, but it is going to put Lama onto the tighter line in the next corner. Lama moves to the right-hand side. Portland follows behind. Is Portland going to move to the left to go on the outside line? He certainly is. He's going to brake earlier, though, trying potentially to get the switch back on the exit. Lama is going to try and keep the speed, gets the gravel. Borkland moves to the right-hand side. Is he going to stick a nose in? He certainly is. They're side by side. Borkland's got the better line on the outside here, but Lama pushes it hard, pushes it right onto the racing line. That Borkland just isn't going to be able to carry the speed there. Once again, Borkland is stuck behind as we head down towards the back end of the circuit. To get to the inside. As they fight it up, Borkland dives to the inside and going to slide up to the racing line. There's major contact between the two drivers. Kim Borkland is in the lead. Lama, with major front end damage, is not going to be able to carry the speed here. As Borkland, it looks like he may have potential damage on the exit. That is going to be major damage for Lama. Lama was in the fight for the win, is now out of it completely, dropping down the order as Borkland runs around. We saw the rear end get loose, but it looks like Borkland is able to control it. But could this potentially be McKenzie taking advantage here? Because if Borkland has major back end damage, which it looks like he does, he's not going to be able to run quickly. And Logan McKenzie could win this race here. There is potential for it. You can see that Borkland's car grabbing a little bit. How hard is he going to be able to push through the final two corners? As McKenzie is now just half a second behind. Who is going to be able to win this one? Can Borkland hold it with that damage? Can McKenzie find the time as we head out through the final turn? But Kim Borkland, contact for the lead, moves through and takes the win ahead of McKenzie. Thurtle takes home a podium. Scotton takes home fourth ahead of Downing, ahead of Mould. Lama just takes it home for 8th position. Ronald de Jong wins the Pro-Ams for the first time this season, and Stephen Fry takes his third victory. Massive amounts of wheel spin before we get the launch, and as we go, a nice launch from the lead for Kev Aylett and moves across to the right hand side to go defensive straight away. Where is it going to go wrong behind, or are they going to find it all clean? A little bit of gravel out ahead, but the drivers all make their way through turn number 1. Logan McKenzie on the start has moved down to 15th position. Contact with Borkland. Borkland keeps it low this time and will remain in 15th, but could now be under attack from Paul Hurley, who's got some speed on the exit and goes side by side from the move. They're side by side ahead as well, settling themselves down. Hurley on the outside of Borkland. Borkland will hold on to the 15th position at the moment. Scott Malcolm gets past Jeff Saunders just behind, as well as Chesney Vandenbroek and Thomas Coombs. Swap positions, there's contact ahead, and that was Logan McKenzie. That was a big lock-up, almost going into another driver. I think there was a minor bit of contact, but nothing that led to any drivers going off. McKenzie going extremely defensive here on Borkland, though, as they go onto the back straight. McKenzie, as Mould has got Lama on the exit of the first turn, and it is going to be side by side with Stephen Fry ahead. Mould on the outside, and to the inside goes Anthony Lama. That inside drop down from Lama not going to work out for him, and in fact he is now being swarmed by Pro-Am drivers, and the car's off. Hopefully going to keep it out of the way. That's Cole Hardy, and he does keep it out of the way. No one else getting involved in that one, but Pro-Am Championship leader Cole Hardy into the wall with a very heavy hit. This is side by side between Anthony Lama and Stephen Fry. Lama makes the move through and is now a second off of Dan Mould, and will be wanting to try and get through there. Ryan Stringer has gone off and has had some issues falling down the order from Jaden Scotton. Moves to the right hand side. That could potentially be into the wall from Scotton. He gets back across. Oh, that could have been disastrous with the cars coming through behind. Up towards turn number 1. Scotton on the outside of Downing can't carry the speed, and in fact Ronald de Jong looking to get involved in that one. De Jong in 4th position in car sight now, on the inside up towards the chicane. In fact he backs out of it, and here comes Arthur Thurtle. squeeze into the inside. De Jong goes onto the gravel, and Portland says, thank you very much, Turtle, for making that move. I'm just going to tuck it up the inside here, and now Portland could have the overtake on Turtle, but Turtle does keep it to the inside. They run very close together as Portland gets onto the gravel. The tighter line here for Turtle is going to help him out and help him hold on to 11th position at the moment, but Portland surely is going to try and make the move through. Turtle goes defensive. Portland back to the outside. A huge lock-up up ahead and into the gravel for Jaden Scotton. That's a shame. He finds the escape route though. Comes back on and side by side with Dejay. Dejay is going to make that move. Is there going to be contact? Because here comes Luke Jones on the outside. And Scotton just sticks to the inside and allows that position to be taken off of him. He doesn't want to get into contact after returning back onto the circuit. Few laps, but on the fourth lap of asking, it looks like he has made a slight mistake. A little bit of grass collected before the corner. He's done a big slide. He holds the slide, but Daniel Lewis does make that move through and moves to the lead. And Lewis now will be just trying to pull a gap over Kev Ayler and Ronald De Jong were involved in that one. It looks like De Jong has had contact there. Huge amount of contact with Kim Borkland. Contact that was not my fault. Could I do it here? Dan Mole's like, I don't really want you behind me, Lama, right now. I want to put a car between us. So he dives at the inside of Kev Ayler. It's going to put Ayler on the tighter line as Mole tries to run the wider line, but Lama is going to try and now get into this fight. It's battle for third position in the race between the two pro drivers, but Mold holds it ahead of Anthony Lama at the moment, not getting too involved in fighting him. He certainly looked up the inside for a moment, but other than that, he's not really gone for the move. Talking about going for a move, here goes Mold to the inside of Ayler. He's going to be on the tighter line here, but if he's got a significant overlap, he could get the position done early doors. It's not going to happen. And it's going to switch back into Aylert's routes here. Mold going to hold the outside line. Gets it back in behind Aylett. Looking for a potential switch back to get to the left-hand side of the chicane. It's not going to be enough with the speed on the exit, that tighter line. Just not working out. And again, Aylett holds on to Mold and Lama. Now, the more these drivers fight, the more Daniel Lewis is able to pull away in the lead of this race. But that is slight grass contact from Aylett. Mold goes to the outside, decides he doesn't want that run that wide line, but he is going to switch it back through the final corner. Mold goes to the inside. Lama is certainly going to follow that through as well. So Kev Aylett holding on second position could be over and done with, or is it going to be over and done with for third? Because Lama not able to get that speed there on the exit, and Aylett is going to hold it ahead, but Lama does go for the move to the inside. Aylett is going to have to leave that door open, and Lama pushes it perfectly, leaving room on the outside, but pushes it enough speed to take third position in this race. That side-by-side going on behind Tony Walker is going to go up the inside of Fraser Garrity here. It's going to be stuck on the outside line as Garrity goes sideways. Minor bit of contact, more contact on the exit. Both of them off the circuit, onto the gravel. Garrity and Walker off track there. And back on. Walker had to deal with a 10-place grid penalty in race 1, and that has not gone the way that he wanted in that fight there. Daniel Downing to the inside of Logan McKenzie, and both of them heavy into the wall on what happened there. That must have been the fright of a lifetime there for turn number 1 as Mold goes to the inside. Lewis onto the gravel ever so slightly here. Mold gets that overlap, and here comes Lama, just dives it. Lama not waiting for a second invitation. And now he is in charging for the lead of the race. That is going to be just ahead. Brown trying to get past. Dejay here does get the overlap on the exit chicane, but now Brown is stuck on the outside. Dejay's got that inside line here, and he's running on that inside line is going to help through the final turn. Definitely some front end damage on Dejay's car, though. You can see the left-hand light not working, but he is getting a push from Jaden Scotton behind. as Brown moves back behind as DeJay's got the inside line. It's going to be side by side. DeJay on the inside, Brown on the outside. Side by side between Scotton and Luke Jones behind, but DeJay holds on to that one. Scotton now on the inside of Luke Jones. Jones is going to be on the tighter line through the banked corner. It's going to give him the initial position, but not the speed on the exit. And in fact, Sydney Hard is going to get involved in that one and move past Luke Jones as well. And why that has happened. He's on the whiter line and contact with Borkland. Coming across the timing line. Again, this chain going up to 11th position with DeJay on the outside, Brown on the inside, and it looks like John Brown might be able to hold on to 11th this time. Here comes Jaden Scotton, tries the inside into DeJay. It's not going to quite make it there. And Scotton going for the move, but this time to a part of the course we don't often see overtakes being attempted. Scotton on the outside, DeJay on the inside. They have been doing it cleanly though. They can show you that you can run through that section without any contact, and they have done that perfectly. Scotton getting the position on DeJay, and Sydney Hard taking advantage of the slightly slower JB DeJay here to try and get around the outside. DeJay holds the inside line though and will hold on to 13th position, and they still remain settled down side by side between Jones and Titcheler. Titcheler is on the inside this time, and are they going to be able to make it through cleanly? They certainly do. Titcheler keeping that overlap, but Jones carrying the speed on the exit says that was over the curbing from Titcheler, unsettled his car, but they keep themselves away from each other, no contact. And Luke Jones holds the position of 9th for the time being. He's going to have the tighter line. Titcheler stuck on the wider line. Could find the speed on the exit though. But right now, that position goes Luke Jones' way. Inside at Titcheler on the outside behind as well. So we go 2 by 2 through turn number 1. Gibbons comes out ahead of DeJay. Jones and Titcheler still side by side. Jones on the inside line here. Titcheler will get the inside line through the banking, but of course that outside line you can carry more speed on the exit, and Jones will regain 16th position in this one, as that is Scotton making his move past John Brown. It looks like it was a nudge from Scotton behind. No, a potential wheel disconnect. That definitely looked like a mechanical failure. As we go on to the final lap of asking, it is Dan Mould leading Anthony Lammer here. Mould is trying to take his 6th win of the season. Anthony Lammer looking for his first win of the season. He took the lead in race number 1 before the end of the first lap. Well, really before the end of the first turn, and he held that all the way towards the end until the contact on the final lap of the race. Dan Mould has found his way to the front of the field here with the reverse grid. Anthony Lammer just 0.2 of a second behind now. Can he find the speed at the end? How hard is he going to be pushing? Because I expect it to be the hardest he has pushed all night long. 0.3 of a second left on the clock here. So left on the clock, left between them here. It's late at night and my words are getting confused. There's so much that has happened tonight as Dan Mould pulls open the gap to 0.4 once more. Lammer is going to have to get the best chicane of his life for the speed. He gets it to the inside, over the sausage curb, closes that gap down. Is he going to get the speed on the exit? Looking at the infill on the left, Mould has just got the speed coming through before the final 2 turns. It's 0.3 of a second onto the gravel for Anthony Lammer as he pushes just slightly too hard. And for the 6th time this season, Dan Mould is going to take the victory here at Circuit Zandvoort. Anthony Lammer's going to come home in second. Daniel Lewis is going to win the Pro-Am field for the first time this season, and Stephen Fry is going to come home to win the amateur field for the 4th time.